Welcome, everyone. Go ahead and find a comfortable seat, whatever that means to you. Can be up on some blocks, on a blanket, on a cushion.
Do you want us to mute ourselves?
Oh, I will mute you.
Okay.
Good call. All right. My hair looks so beautiful. It's not really this beautiful. Okay. We'll find a comfortable seat, whatever that means to you. You can sit up on a block. You can sit on your mat. Place your hands on your knees or your palms facing up with the backs of your hands on your thighs or knees if you'd like. And just gently close your eyes or lower your gaze. Just start to look inward. Begin to bring your awareness to your breath. No need to change or judge it. And start doing a check-in with your body. Make sure you've got a nice long spine. Check in with those ribs. Make sure you're not sticking them out. Today, I want to not just scan for pain, but to pay attention to your pain. Every time I have an ache or a pain, it's either coincidentally or not even a little bit coincidentally, somewhere on my gallbladder meridian, because I have a terrible gallbladder. So I think that's really interesting because obviously the body is one whole thing and everything is connected. But from, if I have a pain in my foot, to my outer thigh, to even my jaw, it's always the gallbladder meridian. So I encourage you to look at your pain, ask your pain questions, ask your pain what it's trying to tell you. It could be that you sit at a desk too much. It could be that you're just a tired person, or it can be that, I don't know, change your diet for your gallbladder, things like that. And while you're listening to those uncomfortable parts of your body, maybe you can listen to some uncomfortable parts of your mind. There's a passage that stood out from the book I'm reading that what are your fears? What do your fears tell you about yourself? I've been contemplating that question lately and what I can do about my own fears. We're going to do 5 rounds of lion's breath together. You can keep your eyes closed or you can open them, whatever you're more comfortable with. On our inhale, we'll inhale through the nose, and on your exhale, we'll exhale out through the mouth, sticking out the tongue for lion's breath. Inhale. Hold it at the top and exhale. 4 more like that. Inhaling. Holding at the top and exhale. Inhaling. Hold. Exhale. Inhaling. Hold. Exhale. One more. Inhaling here. Holding at the top. Forceful exhale. Good job. Go ahead and continue breathing normally. You can flutter your eyes open or raise your gaze, whatever comfortable for you. And we'll start just by lifting our arms into the air, nice and straight. Checking in with those ribs, popping them back in, holding those palm fingers nice and wide. Maybe those pinkies turn in towards each other, maybe just like 5 degrees. Melting those shoulders down the back. From here, we'll do cartoon cactus arms. Nice and wide fingers here. Check in with your elbows, make sure they're square with your shoulders. From here, we'll stretch all the way back up into the air, and we'll take that right arm down to the mat and reach that left arm over top. Opening the intercostal muscles, shining that chest towards the ceiling, reaching with your fingertips. See if you can feel that stretch in your upper arm muscle and that outer bicep. Take your pinky here, make sure that your hand is parallel to the ground. You can take that pinky and just kind of tuck it down so that your hand is facing towards the back of the room at a slight angle. From here, reach that hand over top, swing it down in front, and we'll come all the way around to the other side. Reaching that arm over top, giving yourself a nice sturdy base. Checking in with those ribs, stretching through those intercostal muscles. Melting the shoulders down away from the ears. See if you can make that stretch come from those rib muscles and come from that outer bicep. Take that pinky and just kind of rotate it down so your hand is sort of rotating toward the wall. On your next deep breath, you can fold, or you can rotate down, so you're in a forward fold. You can round in your back here if you'd like. You can bring your forehead as far as you can towards the ground. You can place a block underneath your forehead if it helps. Just breathing here. Your next inhale will roll back up to a standing position. Shine that chest toward the ceiling. Be careful of your neck. And option to stretch your legs out in front of you. Give your knees a little shake and forward fold again. You can stay here. Option to bring one leg in and come into a half bind or full bind. Option. Go ahead and switch your legs if you decided to come into your bind. Go ahead and release your hands down, release your legs down, give your knees a little shake out. We'll take one knee up, cross it over that opposite knee. Hug that bent knee into your chest as tight as possible and place that foot back down onto the ground. Take the opposite elbow's knee, stretch it into the air. Take your elbow, hook it around the outside of that knee, and then we'll twist to the back of the room. Make any adjustments in your stance you'd like. Inhaling here, exhaling and twisting. Nice big inhale, nice long exhale. One more. Your next inhale will come to the center. Do a nice little counter twist to the other side. And go ahead and switch the crossing of your legs. Again, grab that knee in nice and tight to the chest. Place the foot back down on the mat. Opposite arm is leg. Hook the elbow behind your knee and twist to the back of the room. Make any adjustments you may need to. Nice long inhales for long spine. Long exhales to twist to the back and wring out that abdomen. On your next inhale, you can come back to center. Exhale, a little counter twist the opposite side. You can come back to center, give your knees a little shake out. And we will, before we come to a tabletop, I just want to do a nice quick fake beach ball. So sitting here with your legs outstretched, imagine you're grabbing that giant beach ball off of your feet. It could be about as wide as your shoulders. Coming off your feet into the air. On your next exhale, you can tilt to one side, trying to keep both sit bones on the mat. My beach ball has shrunken and grown and become oblong. Inhaling back to center and exhaling to the other side, again, trying to grab that invisible ball. Reaching with your arms and keeping both sit bones on the mat. Back to center. Exhale to fold forward, release your arms, and we'll come to a tabletop pose at the front of the mat. Not my way here. All right, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, tops of the feet glued to the mat. Go ahead and shine that chest forward. Inhale for cow pose. Drop those udders down. On your next exhale, you can round in the back option and tuck your toes under and come up on your fingertips for cat pose. Go ahead and nod your head yes here, shake your head no, move your head I don't know, make sure you're not wrenching in your neck. On your next inhale, we'll come into cow pose. Breathe here for a minute, again, checking in with that neck. On your next exhale, come into cat pose. Rounding in that back, pulling that belly button towards the back of the body. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. I'm going to continue to make this motion at your own pace and your own breath. When you're ready, you can make S and C curves in your spine and come down to a child's pose or up to a baby chaturanga. You can sway your hips side to side and open them up. When you're ready, we'll come back to stillness. From here, with your knees down in tabletop pose, bring your forearms down to the mat. You can bring your head down if you'd like. You can arch in your back so your chest is closer to the mat than your hips. And come up to your fingers here. Ooh, no, sit. Come back into your tabletop. We'll tuck the back toes under and press into downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog, your feet can be hips width distance apart here. You can go ahead and pedal out through the back of the feet, pedal out through the heels. And when you're ready on the next inhale, We'll bring all the heels up nice and high, and then exhale, pull the heels back down to the mat. Pressing into the fingertips, pulling those thighs into the air. On your next inhale, we'll roll forward to plank pose. Taking a few breaths in plank. Go ahead and breathe here. If your hips are in the air, go ahead and tilt them forward. And press back to downward facing dog. Checking in with that neck. Breathing here. And on your next inhale, rolling forward to plank again, breathing in plank. Tilting that hip forward. And exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog. Nice big inhale here. Exhaling, rolling forward to plank. Bring those hips down. Breathing here. Pressing the ground away from you. Not falling into that shoulder girdle. From here, place the right knee onto the mat. We'll swing that other knee over and lift up your left arm, supported side plank. Stay supported right now. Option to go ahead and slide that leg back and come into a side plank. Breathing here, your arm can be stretched into the air if you'd like. On your next exhale, we'll come back to plank pose and press back to downward facing dog. Breathing here. Pressing those thighs into the air, bringing those heels back down to the mat. Drop that left knee down to the mat, swing that right foot over and come into a supported side plank. Breathing here. Adjust your stance any way you may need to. An option to slide that leg under and come into a side plank. Breathing here. Go ahead and exhale back into plank. Press back into downward facing dog. Go ahead and step your toes up, I don't know, about 6 inches. Get nice and comfy here. See if you can bring your forearms down to the mat. Release your neck wherever you are. You can walk your feet in a little bit closer if it's easier for you. This is dolphin pose. Breathing in dolphin. And drop your knees here. Go ahead and come back to your tabletop pose. And when you're ready, we'll go ahead and press back into downward facing dog and step or hop so you're in front of the mat, in a forward fold. I had my timer up, so I kept us in plank long enough. So go ahead and release down into your forward fold. You could have your knees bent here as much or as little as you'd like. Just imagine the top of your head is reaching down towards the mat. The back of your heels are reaching down into the ground. See if you can release your arms down, make them feel as floppy and heavy as possible. How far can you get your arms down? Could you step on your hands? Can you place the back of your hands on the tops of your feet? Again, check in with that neck. Your next inhale will gently roll the hands up to the shins and come into a nice long flat back. Breathing a couple rounds of breath here, nice and big. Filling the back of the lungs. On your next exhale, imagine you're wringing out your midsection, your abdomen like a towel as you fold down into your forward fold. Again, check in with your neck here. Maybe your knees are bent a little less this time. Maybe you're folded a little bit more forward this time. Play with the bottom corners of your feet while you're in this forward fold. You can rock left to right. You can go forward and back. You can go in little circles. Just checking in with all four corners of the feet. Pressing into the ground here. And gently, slowly rolling up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Feet are hips width distance apart. All four corners of the feet pressing into the ground. Lifting yourself up by pushing down with the bottoms of the feet. Go ahead and inhale those arms into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Turn those pinkies slightly in towards each other. Check in with those ribs, pull those arms back so they're about even with your ears if you can. Expand your hands out to about hips width distance, maybe wider. Feel that giant beach ball in your hand. And first we'll twist to the right, wringing out that abdomen, feeling the feet glued to the mat so we're not twisting anywhere but the midsection. Maybe both hips are still square too. Pinkies are still tucked towards each other, just so hands are a little bit wider. Go ahead and exhale, twist to the other side. Feet are glued to the mat, twisting from that midsection, holding that beach ball. Pinkies are turned in towards each other slightly. Checking in with that neck. Go ahead and exhale back to the center. We'll go ahead and reach over to that right side, still holding that ball. Inhaling back to the center. Exhaling to the opposite side, holding that ball. Ball, many shapes and sizes. Try to have a more consistent ball than I do. Inhaling back to center. And then exhaling, folding forward, reaching that ball down, passing it in between your legs, and throwing it back behind you. Your arms can release down to the sides. Breathing here in your forward fold, check in with your neck again. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward, you can plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Breathing in plank. Again, tilt those hips forward if your butt's up in the air like mine. Yes, I know you have lots of toys. When you're ready, you can lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. You can exhale into a low cobra and inhale up. No, inhale up into a low cobra. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Thank you, Connor. Breathing here. When your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to gently roll up to stand. Release your hands to either side. On your next inhale, lift your arms into the air. Grab onto that beach ball. Reach it back behind you like you want to throw it really, really hard. Maybe your elbows splayed out to the side. See if you can make them nice and square. And on your exhale, again, we'll fold all the way down. You can pass that ball between your legs. Get rid of it. We don't need it. And fold forward. When you're ready, you can plant your hands and step back to your plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And exhale to press back to downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward, so you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice, long, flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. On your next inhale, let's lift the arms in the air again. Holding on to that beach ball high above your head. Exhale, fold forward. Press that beach ball into the ground until it pops. Place that right, and whichever hand you have down on the ground, maybe you have both hands down on the ground, maybe you have one underneath the other. If you have one underneath the other, like I do have for some reason, go ahead and take the hand on top or the right hand and lift it into the air. You can bend that left knee, the same knee as your hand that's on the ground, and come into a twisted fold. Folded twist. Breathing here. On your next exhale, go ahead and switch hands, switch the bending of the knees, and lift that opposite arm into the air for a nice, gentle twist in your forward fold. Both my knees are bent, but one is bent way more than the other. And when you're ready, we'll exhale both hands down, plant them. Take your legs back to your plank pose. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to press back to downward facing dog. Breathing here. On your next exhale, you can hop or step, so you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Lowering your hands to either side. Your next inhale, you'll lift the arms above your head. Exhale to fold forward. Okay. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Again, tilt those hips forward. So much longer than I think I am. Okay. Breathing here and plank. On your next exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to press back to downward facing dog. Breathing here. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forwards here, forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. And inhale to gently roll up to stand. Release your hands to either side. Do one more like that. Okay. Go ahead and inhale your hands above your head. Imagine your beach ball is so big you can barely hold it. You have to stretch your arms out almost parallel. Your beach ball is so big that your head is getting in the way of holding it. And then I want you to forcefully press that ball nice and small as you bring your arms in together. And bring it to about normal beach ball size. And imagine it's pressing against your arms, it's fighting against you. So you're trying to keep it together. And holding that ball nice and tight, go ahead and fold forward. From here, go ahead and twist to one side, holding that beach ball. See if you can keep your hips square and twist from the midsection. On your next exhale, you can come back to center. Take a nice deep breath here. And then exhale, twist to the opposite side. Feet are glued to the mat. On your next exhale, come back to center. Plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. No, step back to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale back for down dog. Breathing in down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. Sternal forward, fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, place your hands on your shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Woohoo! Give your legs a little shake out, get a drink of water if you'd like. You can just go in there. Go on. Trayvon. All right, never mind then. All right, standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Check in with all four corners of your feet pressing into the ground. Imagine you've placed that beach ball from your hands in between your feet. And now, maybe in between your calves. And now you're trying to keep your legs pressing up against it. Inhaling those arms up into the air. Beach ball still in between those ankles. Coming into a chair pose. You can always heel toe your feet together if you're more comfortable. You want to get that nice cat spine and that low back, nice cow spine and that upper back. Lowering the bum as much as possible. On your next exhale, you can fold forward. Plant your hands and step back to plank pose. From here, you can lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. Then exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. Your next inhale will lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Check in with your hips, make sure they're still square. Check in with your hands, make sure you have equal weight in both arms. Breathing here. On your next exhale, just bend your knee, bring that heel towards the bum as much as possible. And then inhale, open up those hips. Breathing here. Option to bring that right arm in the air. Drop that leg behind you for rock star pose. You still have both hands on the mat. Concentrate on bringing that heel toward the bum as close as possible. Wherever you are, you can come back into downward facing dog. Give your hips a little shake out back and forth. We'll lift the right leg into the air again for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, open up the thigh. Nice big inhale here. Exhale, swing that knee forward. Help your foot if you need to. And come into a nice sturdy low lunge. Nice 90-degree angle in this front knee. When you're ready, you can drop that back heel down. Rotate it at that 45-degree angle. Glue the back outer edge of that foot to the mat. And press down in both feet to lift your chest into the air for warrior one. Again, hips are square towards the front of the mat. Knee is tracking over that second toe, not falling too forward, far in, or too far out. You can imagine holding your beach ball here. You can imagine tilting those, or you can actually tilt those pinkies in towards each other a bit. Take one last nice, big, beautiful breath here. And on your exhale, you can go ahead and frame that front foot. Take that front foot back to meet the back. Plank pose. Go ahead and drop your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, pressing back to down dog. On your next inhale, you can lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Checking in with that right heel, bring it back to the mat. Checking in with those hips, reaching that heel back behind you. Trying to hit the corner where the wall meets the ceiling. On your next exhale, we'll bend that knee, pull that foot towards the bum. Option to lift your arm and drop the heel back behind you for rock star pose. You still have both hands on the mat. Try to pull that heel towards your bum as close as possible. Breathing here. On your next exhale, go ahead and come back to downward facing dog. You give your hips a little shake out here. And on your next inhale, we'll lift that left leg into the air again, three-legged dog. Exhale to bend the knee. Nice big inhale here. Exhale to swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. And come into a nice, sturdy, low lunge here. Right angle in that front knee. Right angle in that front knee. We'll drop that back heel down at a 45-degree angle. And pressing those feet into the mat, lift your arms into the air for warrior one. Again, you can point those pinkies towards each other slightly. Imagine you have your beach ball. Make sure your shoulders are not eating your ears and they're releasing down. Take one last giant inhale here. When you're ready, we'll exhale, frame that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back. Downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank. Lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose. Whichever you find more restful. When you're ready, you can hop or step forward. Doing a forward fold at the front of the mat. When you're ready, you can gently roll up to stand. So you're in a mountain pose at the front of the mat. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat, we'll lift the arms into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, chair pose. Inhaling in chair. Exhaling to fold forward. Plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. Nice sturdy low lunge, rotate that back heel down. Press into your feet to lift your chest into the air, warrior 1. Exhale, bring those arms back behind you. And we'll come down for humble warrior. Again, making sure that front knee is at a right angle. Bringing your shoulder down towards your knee. And your next inhale, you can release your hands, come back to warrior 1. Exhale back down to frame that front foot. Bring that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank pose. Lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And pressing back to down dog. Breathing here. On your next inhale, we'll lift the left leg in the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, swing your foot forward, help it if you need to. Nice sturdy low lunge, we'll rotate that back heel down. Glue that outer edge of your foot onto the mat. Pressing into the bottom of the feet to lift your chest into the air for warrior 1. Nice deep breath in warrior 1. On your exhale, release your hands down, weird thumb on top this time, and we'll come into a humble warrior. On your next inhale, we'll go ahead and bring those arms back up for warrior 1. Exhale to frame that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And exhale to press back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose, whichever is more restful. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, gently roll up to stand. Releasing your hands at either side. Straight off. On your next inhale, lift your arms into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling down to chair pose. From here, we'll bring hands to heart center. Option to heel toe those feet together if you'd like. We'll come into a chair pose twist, hooking that right elbow on the outside of that left knee. Your next inhale, come back to chair. And then exhale down to the other side. Coming into that chair twist. Lowering your bum as much as possible. On your next inhale, back to chair. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. On your next exhale, lower your knees, chest, and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, press back to downward facing dog. All right. Lifting your right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knees, swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. Nice, sturdy, low lunge. Rotate that back heel down. Lifting up into warrior one. Exhaling down to humble warrior. Inhaling up to warrior one. Exhaling out, warrior two. Breathing here. Your next inhale will straighten that front knee. Reach forward and then down to come into triangle pose. Your hand can be on a block, on your shin, on the mat, whatever's more comfortable for you. And your next inhale, come back to warrior two. Then come down to side angle pose on your exhale. Option to bind here if you'd like. On your next exhale, you can rotate your arms down so that you're framing that front foot. Oh, kick that front foot back to meet the back. Downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And exhale to press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing the foot forward. Help it if you need to. Come into a nice, sturdy, low lunge. Rotating that back heel down. And inhaling the arms up to warrior one. Exhaling down to humble warrior, weird thumb on top. Inhaling up to warrior one. Exhaling out to warrior two. That front knee tracking over that second toe. On your next inhale, give your knee a break. We'll reach forward and then down for triangle pose. Your hand can be on the mat, on a block, or on your shin, wherever you're most comfortable. Your next inhale, you can come back to warrior two. And then exhale down to side angle pose. Option to bind here. And exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat. Your front leg back, beneath the back. Coming into downward facing dog. Go ahead and roll forward to plank pose and go through your vinyasa. Dropping your knees, chest, and chin to the mat. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Rolling forward to low cobra or upward facing dog and pressing back to downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog. When you're ready, you can hop or step in a forward fold at the front of the mat. When you're ready, you can gently roll up to stand. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Go ahead and inhale the arms up into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bend your knees coming into your chair pose. Lower that bum as much as you can. All right. And when you're ready, we'll exhale into your forward fold. Plant your hands, step back, plank pose. On your next exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra and exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg in the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knees, swing your foot forward, help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down. Come into your nice, sturdy, low lunge. From here, we'll lift our arms into the air for warrior one. Exhale down, humble warrior. Inhale out, warrior two. Exhale, forward and down for triangle. Yikes. Inhale for warrior two. Exhale for side angle pose. Go ahead and rotate your hands down, kick this front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling, pressing back to down dog. On your next inhale, bring that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knee. Bring your foot forward, help it if you need to, low lunge. Go ahead and rotate that back heel down. On your next inhale, we'll come into a warrior one. Exhale out to a warrior. What? How could I? I'm so sorry. Deny you, your humble warrior. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, humble warrior, weird thumb on top. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale out to warrior two. Inhale forward and down to exhale for triangle pose. Inhaling back up for warrior two. Exhaling into side angle pose. Go ahead and rotate those hands down, kick that front foot back to meet the back. Downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank pose, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog or child's pose, whichever's more restful. When you're ready, you can hop or step forward to your forward fold at the front of the mat. Take your tail feather here, give your hips a little shake out. And press into the ground to gently roll up to stand. Oh, beautiful. We'll do one more like that. All right. On your next inhale, let's lift the arms up above your head. Tilt those pinkies in towards each other and bend those knees and lower the bone. Chair pose. Then your next exhale will fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra, and exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift the right leg in the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing the foot forward, help it if you need to. From here, you can rotate that back heel down, make yourself a nice sturdy base, and inhale up for warrior one. Exhale down for humble warrior. Inhale up for warrior one. Exhale out for warrior two. Inhale to straighten that knee. Exhale to reach forward and down for triangle. Inhaling for warrior two. Exhaling for side angle pose. From here, you can rotate your hands down. So it goes hand, hand, foot. Maybe heel toe that foot out so it's a little bit further. We're going to take that back heel and rotate it off the mat. So now you're in a lizard pose. Go ahead and bring those hips forward. Just tilt the pelvis forward. From here, if you're happy with this lizard, you can certainly stay right here. If you'd like to lower that back knee, you're more than welcome to. You can also bring the hands closer to the mat, maybe on blocks. Just get 5 nice breaths, whatever variation of lizard you prefer. Ready? Remove any props you may have. Lift this hip up here. Drop that back knee down if it's not dropped already. And instead of kicking this foot back to meet that back one, let's bring this foot up and forward. We're going to come into a squat. So whatever that means. I mean, if you're graceful, you can maybe lift that leg up and come right into your squat. But if you're me, you can just move around until you're in a squat. Your feet can be as wide as you want here. Oh, thank you for that Christmas present. Dog ate it. From here, I want you to put all your weight on one leg. You can bring your heel down to the mat if you'd like. You take that other leg and just kind of splay it out to the side. And lift those toes into the air. And when you're ready, we'll rotate that back heel, that leg back down. We'll move our arms back, so maybe we're in kind of a low lunge. We'll kick that leg back to meet the back, so we're in a plank pose. Tilting those hips forward, breathing in plank. On your next exhale, lower the knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling back to down dog. Take a nice deep breath and down. No. When you're ready, we'll lift the left leg into the air, the three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, swing your foot forward, come into a nice sturdy low lunge. Rotate that back heel down. On your next inhale, we'll come into warrior one. Exhale down, weird thumb on top. Humble warrior. Inhale up. Arms into the air for warrior one. Exhaling out for warrior two. Inhaling to straighten that knee. Exhaling forward and down for triangle pose. Inhaling for warrior two. Exhaling for side angle pose. Breathing here. When you're ready, we'll windmill those hands down. So we've got foot, hand, hand. Bring that back heel up. And come into whatever variation of lizard pose is comfortable for you. Bring that back heel down. You can bring your arms to blocks. Whatever you did on that first side. Breathing here. When you're ready, remove any props you may have. You're going to come into another squat. Breathing here. Nice tall back. Heels supported if you want. If you're comfortable. When you're ready, we'll put all our weight on the opposite foot as before, kicking that other leg out and coming into a nice comfortable side squat. And when you're ready, we're going to maneuver back to our mat into our plank pose. Run through your vinyasa, lowering the knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra, and exhaling back to downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog. And your next exhale, we'll go ahead and walk or hop. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, we'll gently roll up to stand until you're in mountain pose. Breathing here. All right, we'll get into some balancing poses, whatever that means to you. I'm going to go ahead and come into tree. So you can start with taking that heel to the ankle, the foot to the calf, or you can place your heel in your thigh. Just as long as your foot is not touching your knee. Hands can be on your hips at heart center or branches blowing in the breeze. Breathe here. Your next exhale, you can bring that knee forward, release your foot from your leg, bring it a little higher, a little higher, a little higher, and then maybe bring it to the edge. You can rub that standing leg, outer calf muscle if you'd like. And we'll come to all four corners of the opposite foot. Extending that heel against the ankle. Or foot against the thigh. Also heel into the inner, foot against the calf. Again, just make sure your knees are not touching your feet. Hands can be on your hips or branches blowing in the breeze. Thank you, everyone. If you fall out of it, just come back in. Excuse me. And when you're ready, we'll release the foot from the leg, bring the knee towards you, bring the foot up in the air, a little higher, release it down, give your legs a little shake out. And we'll come back to mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhaling here, arms above your head, nice and tall. Exhaling to plant the hands, stepping back to downward facing dog. Giving the hips a little shake out here. You're gonna lift that right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing that shin forward. Give yourself any props you may need. Lifting that chest into king pigeon, and then exhaling down onto the mat. I bet you. Go ahead and maneuver your legs back into tabletop pose. And we'll push back to downward facing dog. Trayvon, that is not your enemy. Come here. On your next inhale, we'll lift that left leg into the air, three-legged dog, bend the knee, swing that shin forward, help it if you need to. Set yourself up with any props you may need. And when you're ready, Trayvon, come on down to pigeon pose. Your next inhale, you can move your legs back to tabletop pose. Tuck those toes under. Come back to downward facing dog. And if you'd like, you can take a last optional vinyasa. Rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, we'll roll forward to plank pose and lower your body down to the mat. Lower. Go ahead and give your hips a little shake out. We'll start by zipping the legs together from thighs to toes. You can lift. You can go ahead and lift, bend your knees and lift just your head, neck, and, bend your knees and lift just your ankles off the mat. See how that feels? And lift them a little higher. You can release them back down, maybe hovering 1/4 inch above the ground. Release your cheek down to one side. We'll reach the arms back behind you. Option to interlace the fingers back behind your back. On your next inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat, reaching that fist behind you. Hovering above your bum, if you can. You can lift your knees and thighs off the mat as well, if you'd like. Imagine yourself going down a ski slope or a slalom. And when you're ready, release your legs, release your head, neck, and chest. Place the opposite cheek down on the mat. Give your hips a little shake out back and forth. Go ahead and zip the legs up again, hovering those feet off the mat. Interlace the fingers back behind your back, weird thumb on top this time. On your next inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. Reaching those hands toward your feet. You can lift the knees and thighs up in the air if you'd like. Breathing here. Release back down, release your hands, opposite cheek on the mat. Give your hips a little shake out. We'll do one more like that, zipping the legs up, hovering those toes. Interlacing the hands behind the back, lifting the head, neck, and chest off the ground. Reaching those hands back behind you, lifting the entire leg off the mat. Breathing there. Release your head, neck, and chest. Release your hands, opposite cheek on the mat. Give your hips a little shake out, back and forth. And when you're ready, we'll go ahead and come onto our backs. You can hug your knees into your chest here. You can rock back and forth. You can sway to and fro. You can give yourself a little massage in the low back by bringing your knees into some nice little circles. You can place your feet on the mat, hips width distance apart, just so you can just about brush your heels with your fingertips. We'll do 3 active or 1 restorative bridge. When you're ready, you can lift your hips off the mat. You can wiggle your shoulder blades beneath you and interlace your hands back behind your back. Take 3 to 5 good breaths in bridge pose. When you're ready, you can release your hands, release your shoulders down, release that spine down to the mat. Windshield wiper your feet back and forth, your knees back and forth. And when you're ready, you can lift your hips into the air again, reaching that chest towards your chin. Wiggling those shoulder blades behind you and interlacing your hands behind your back. Breathing 3 to 5 good breaths here. Release your hands, release your back, down to the mat. Windshield wiper your legs. And when you're ready, you can come into your 3rd and final bridge pose. Again, 3 to 5 good breaths. And when you're ready, you can bring your back down to the mat, windshield wiper those legs back and forth. All right. We'll go ahead and bring our right leg into the chest. Bring the bring the right ankle to the left knee, left leg in the air. Reach behind the thigh, grab that, push that knee out. Make sure both feet are flexed here. And if you can't find any particular sore or touchy spots, you can always gently kind of rotate back and forth and see if you can't find a place that's more sore, stuck, or just painful. When you're ready, you can release your hands from your legs, release your legs back to the mat, give them a little windshield wiper back and forth. We'll go ahead and switch the crossing of the legs. Bring that left ankle to the right knee. Bring that right leg into the air. Go ahead and grab the back of the thigh and press the opposite knee out away from you. Again, if you can't find any place that maybe needs a little bit more stretching, you can always rotate back and forth till you find a spot that's maybe a bit more stuck. Feet are flexed here. When you're ready, you can release your hands from your legs, release your legs down. Go ahead and windshield wiper them back and forth. We'll hug the knees into the chest nice and tight. Again, we'll drop that left leg down. So it's just the right leg hugged into the chest. We're going to bring it across the body, leaving both hips on the mat at first. Breathing here, feeling, finding space between that knee and thigh. If you'd like to, you can always take that right thumb and hook it in that right hip and pull it down to the mat as you try to pull the knee over. When you're ready, you can bring it all the way down onto the mat. Make sure your arms of both shoulders are on the mat and only one hip. Take 5 good breaths here. Go ahead and grab that knee, bring it back to center. Bring both knees into your chest, extend that right leg out. Sorry, Mama. We'll bring that right knee across the chest, leaving both hips on the mat. Again, bring that left hand to that left hip if you'd like to pull the hip down towards the mat to find space in that thigh. When you're ready, just drop that leg completely onto the mat. Both shoulders should be on the mat, but only one hip has to be. If you're having trouble keeping both shoulders down and releasing the leg, you can always put block under the knee for support. On your next exhale, we'll come back to center. Hug both knees into the chest. And when you're ready, you will drop them onto one side for your gentle twist. Again, both shoulders should be on the mat. Only one hip needs to be. Your next inhale, go ahead and bring those knees back to center. And go ahead and exhale, drop them to the other side. Next inhale, you can come back to center. Hug those knees into the chest, nice and tight. From here, you can come into a gentle inversion. That can mean your legs are just nice and straight in the air. That can mean a block under your sacrum. That can mean lifting your hips into the air with your hands or your support shoulders and get your nose out of there. Just to bring your feet above your head. When you're ready, you can come down from your inversion, remove any props you may have. Again, windshield wiper your knees back and forth. We're gonna hug those knees into the chest and reach for the inner feet for a happy baby. Make this happy baby any kind of happy baby you want. You can pull those knees into the armpits. You can practice maybe straightening one leg and bending the other. Maybe practice straightening both legs. Maybe bring your legs out in front, whatever you'd like to do. Maybe rock back and forth. When you've had enough of all that, you can release your hands from your legs and come into whatever you prefer. You can come into a final resting pose and come into Supta Baddha Konasana. You can do any maybe poses you feel relaxing, or you can come into your final resting pose. Sorry. You can begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. And start to make small movements in your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, using your arm as a pillow, you can take one breath in the fetal position. Using that same slow quality of movement, go ahead and come up to a comfortable seat. Take a moment to see if your comfortable seat has changed at all since the beginning of class. Go ahead and give yourself a moment to thank yourself for coming to yoga. Give yourself a moment to forgive me for my barking dogs during your class. And close with one Om. Inhaling for Om. Om. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings be free from suffering. Namaste.